Okay guys, just so you know, I did make a video yesterday. Didn't go that well. It got deleted. No notification, nothing, just got deleted. Why? Because it was something that is, according to terms and conditions on YouTube, it was violating the content policy. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm very close to getting monetized, and if I don't get monetized, I'm going to have to beg you guys for money, and I don't want to do that. So here's what's happened. This was trending #1 on Facebook. Facebook deleted it, and the rest of the media followed suit. But to Facebook's defense, okay, here's what we have in Politico today. The moment of reckoning for the Facebook advertiser boycott. I didn't even know that was going on, but you know, you got to feel sort of sorry for Facebook, because they're sitting with a bit of a conundrum. I think they said they're not gonna do any advertisements, anything for Trump, or for any campaign, which is fair, you know, sort of fair. But I get their point. But this is pressure that they're getting. And before I go on, I actually want to drop down because I want to show you. Okay, so let's start there. More than 1,000 organizations stopped ads for the month of July without getting consensus. Can they keep it going and build global pressure? Okay. Civil rights groups persuaded more than 1,100 companies and organizations from the US to Germany to Australia to pull their money from the social network during July to pressure Facebook to take more action on hate speech and deceptive posts from politicians. But the month is almost over without Facebook meeting many of their demands. If the movement can't up the ante, it risks watching its work evaporate. Now, what they don't tell you is that this is totally aimed at, let me just move over to this. This is totally aimed at conservative politicians. They do not want to block the Democrats. They don't want the left. They don't want to stop the left from talking about their talking points. What they do want to do is they want to stop the conservatives. And I'm not going to say the right. I'm going to say conservatives, because they keep on talking about the right, and it's not fair, because we're not from the right. The right is Nazis. It's skinheads, guys that hate other races. We're not like that. I mean, and it's unfair to put us in the same category. It's like the LGBT community putting gay people, lesbians, and gay men into the same bucket as the LGBT community. And a lot of them don't like that. They hate it, because a lot of them's view is a lesbian is a woman that likes a woman. A gay man is a man that likes other men. They don't believe in this whole you can be whatever you want to be thing. And but it's a lot of the older people that actually fought for gay rights. That's the irony. Now they get told to shut up, and yeah, that's a story for another day. Okay, so the Stop Hate for Profit campaign began in the US with a trickle that became a flood. Brands like I don't know this brand, REI, Ben and Jerry, and Patagonia were among the first. Sorry guys, I'm not from America, so I don't know these brands. I know Nestle, I know Verizon, I know Ford, I know Honda, I know Levi, and I don't know Walgreens. But anyway, they are all part of the guys that joined. So I'm not calling for a stopping of driving Fords and buying Fords, because I only drive Fords. Why? It's very simple. Um, a person once said to me that when a Ford leaks oil, you don't have to worry. When you have to start worrying is when the Ford stops leaking oil. Then you know there's something wrong and it's time to take it to the garage. So it's very easy and simple, the reasoning why I buy Ford cars and vehicles. Right, getting back to the story. But the international adoption has been mixed. Several of Canada's largest banks and retailers, including the Royal Bank of Canada, MEC, ARC, the Rijks, and Lululemon. Sorry guys, I don't know these companies, so I don't know what I'm doing to their names, but it can't be good. Have joined the effort. In Germany, global brands such as Puma, Adidas, Bayer, and Volkswagen have put their weight behind it. But few companies from France and Italy, two of Europe's powerhouse economies, have decided to pull their advertising from Facebook. Yeah, for you. Great for you. Not a Facebook fan, but I will tell you that this is not Zuckerberg is, in this sense, he's not backing down. There is a piece here where he states that he's not backing down because most of their income comes from, or revenue comes from, smaller companies anyway. It doesn't come from the corporate companies. So basically, F you. So, but with most of Facebook's revenue, oh, here we go. Most of Facebook's revenue, ad revenue, coming from smaller advertisers, it would take a much larger number of companies joining the boycott to make a significant dent in the company's revenue. Okay, so this is totally virtue signaling. Okay, and I don't know who does the marketing because I studied marketing. Okay, and I like looking at statistics and analytics and all those kinds of things. I like numbers, even though I failed my maths in school. Doesn't mean I don't like looking at numbers and statistics. And there's a 50-50 sort of range of conservative versus the left. And the left, a lot of the people on the left have said that the left has gone too far. And it's not going to be very long before they move over to the conservative side. If they don't, they're stupid because, then I don't know what's waiting for them. The problem I have with this is there's no definition for what these guys are trying to achieve. I mean, they're stating here they're against hate speech and they want more restrictions on hate speech from specifically from politicians, which is obviously Trump. But Facebook doesn't. I don't think Trump is Trump even on Facebook. I don't know. I know he's on Twitter, and maybe they should take him off Twitter sometimes. I feel like that. I'm a big Trump fan, but sometimes, yeah. Okay, so some companies just decreased, like Walt Disney. Mathematics Walmart, Gecko, Delft, Netherlands-based, IKEA, Verizon. They have stopped spending so much money, so they've cut back on that. Now here we go. The Stop Hate for Profit campaign. I want somebody to explain to me this hate that they're talking about. Because further on in the message, they talk about what they want to stop. Okay? So I just want to get that piece where they talk about what is seen as hate speech. No, they're not talking about it. But the words that they're talking about is whitening. So they specifically talked about advertising within the makeup world, or the, what do you want to call it? Whitening. That's racist. Darkening. That's racist. I don't know what they're gonna call darkening your face a little bit. It'll probably be something like previously disadvantaged. Can you please give me make my face look a little bit more previously disadvantaged? Or please, can I have my face look like white privilege? I find this stuff very funny and ridiculous. It's you know why I find it funny and I can laugh about it. It's because I'm from South Africa and we've been through this shit for the past couple of years, and I've seen the world talk about us like we're the biggest racists in the world, and I know I shouldn't feel this gratification about you getting what you were giving. You know, you're on the receiving end at the moment of the stick that you were beating us with all the time. So I'm torn in two because I feel very sorry for you guys, and I've always said that South Africa, and I've warned this, I've been talking about this for 3-4 years now, that South Africa was the test case for this multiculturalism and globalism. And look at what chaos this country's in. We're bankrupt. We are dependent on the World Bank and those kind of people to survive. We import our own food. I mean, I was talking to somebody else, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we had to import wheat to make bread. Okay, this is the first time ever we had to do something like that. Then corruption played in, and they bought it from somebody, and when the wheat got here, it was rotten from the bottom because it was wet. So that all had to be thrown away. So, I mean, we were self-sustaining. We were literally a self-sustaining country. We didn't need anybody's money. We didn't need anybody's oil. We were we had a booming material manufacturing industry and clothing manufacturing industry, which was killed by allowing Chinese and Pakistan to bring in their clothing, and allowing businesses to do that. And I think that's what Donald Trump wants to stop. And I'm sitting on the other side of the fence here. I know what he's trying to do, and I've seen why he wants to do what he wants to do. And Americans don't seem to understand the concept of what happens when you outsource or import everything. Your business is closed down. We had a company, Berg River Textiles, huge company. One of the towns was built around 4 or 5 companies, okay, and because of work, a lot of work that was generated by this company, and basically these companies die out because the companies die out because we start importing shit at low cost, low horrible products. Luckily, we've seen an uptake even in your cheaper stores of um, of clothing, and I must say we've got very competitive pricing at the moment. And I specifically look at it. There was the government started a campaign to buy local and support local business. And in the beginning, it was very expensive, but the more and more people started buying it, I think the price went down. So at the moment, I'm looking for local businesses, um, local clothing. I try and support the smaller businesses where I can, and I support local people. I don't support people from overseas. I don't support companies from overseas. Um, Even though they upset me because they were full of this whole black economic empowerment and employment equity, and I've applied for positions there and they told me you're too white to get the job. So it is an emotional situation sometimes for me to support a company, but I want to keep the economy going. I want to help people keep their jobs. We have a ban on cigarettes. We've had it for 4 months. 30,000 people lost their jobs. Why? Nobody can tell us why. Why a ban on cigarettes because of this virus, this pandemic? Why? There's a ban on liquor. They opened it for 2-3 weeks and then they closed it again. The explanation for the liquor is a bit more understanding because it's the ICUs and the trauma units get overwhelmed by stabbings and gunshots and so on, and also uh, people staying home getting drunk and violence against women and children that increases a lot in South Africa. So the liquor ban does make sense to me, but the cigarette ban, even though I don't smoke, that's just stupid. 30,000 people losing their jobs for what? For something like they can't explain. But anyway, getting back to see I drift. But I think it's exciting, and maybe you're interested in that. So, where was I? Okay, so here's the revenue comes from mainly small companies, while, and this is important, while the European Commission is currently drafting the Digital Services Act, a legislative proposal targeted at online platforms expected to tackle issues such as content moderation and curation and algorithmic transparency. There are less legislative hooks in the US. Now, if you talk to people in the UK, you'll find that they have serious problems. I mean, they have really, really serious problems. If you follow the YouTubers in the UK, then if they say something remotely that's against one of these leftist agendas or social justice warriors, they actually get they get the police at their house. Instead of looking at the crime that's in London, where you're not allowed to buy. I mean, they took away the guns. Okay, so they took away the guns. Then they took away knives. You're not allowed to carry a knife to help yourself if somebody attacks you. And I read an article a while back, I think it's about a year back, where a kid was sent by his stepmother to go and buy spoons, and the shop refused to give him the spoons because what's happening at the moment is the spoons are being sharpened and people are stabbing each other with spoons. I mean that the new London passed, I think, New York's murder figure, and they don't have any. They don't have guns. Guns have been stopped. Gun sales have been stopped. Guns have been taken away. So London doesn't have restrictions on gun sales, or they have restrictions on gun sales where America doesn't, but they still have more murders. So, is removing guns from people with, or putting restrictions on people with no criminal record, good citizens wanting to protect themselves, is that really going to help? We have guys throwing grenades into buildings at the moment in the UK. The gangs just drive past and they throw a grenade at these guys. It seems it's easier to get a grenade than it is to get a gun there. Anyway, but what I wanted to say is the European Union is involved in this once again. Everything that happens, their name is all over this. The UN is a bad group of people with links to guys like George Soros and with links to a lot of politicians and links to a lot of the think tanks that they, through open society, support, a lot of the social groups that they support financially. And if I was a social justice warrior and I had a NGO group and George Soros told me what to do, I would do what he said because he is the biggest funder and I'm lazy, I don't want to work. So, shut up and do what he says. So whatever information you're getting, is that really the true information? Because most of the think tanks and your analytics companies, I know in Africa, is sponsored by George Soros. So how can you trust any of the analytics that you're getting? So the death figures of white farmers, okay, that was proven it was wrong. And the company that gave the figures was a George Soros funded company. Okay, and the police was using those figures because they weren't keeping count because they didn't want to keep count of it. They didn't make it a priority crime. Okay, so the UN is behind this. George Soros is behind this. And yes, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I know. Everybody likes a great conspiracy. The problem is everything rotates around the UN at the moment. And anybody that is standing up against the UN and people that are linked to the UN are getting nailed from every side. There's something else I want to talk about, but I'll leave it for another video. French multinational L'Oreal, that I think L'Oreal, that's the makeup place, said it would remove words like whitening and lightening from skincare products packaging, but the beauty conglomerate which is the fourth largest advertiser globally, stopped short of announcing Facebook ad boycotts. Okay, so they didn't stop it, but they at least they taking away the whitening and the lightening, because that is racist. That is, what's the word they're using these days? There's a couple of words, man, but it's stupid. Systematic racism. What's the other one? It doesn't even have racism in it, but it's a thing. So Facebook is under fire, and they have left this company. So I actually feel sorry for them at the moment. Look, there are other platforms, but eventually, as soon as the money starts rolling in on these platforms, they're gonna start bending to wherever the advertisers are, and these guys are going after the banks. They're going after all the big companies, and to be dead honest, I saw Ford's name on there. Now, I will never buy a Ford again. I promise you that, out of principle. I'll buy L'Oreal because they stopped. I don't mind that they changed the words from whitening to enlightening. That is fine. So, but this virtue signaling, I mean, do these companies realize that they're pissing off the half of the world? And in a lot of cases, look at Ford. The people on the left, do they really think that they drive Ford trucks and Ford buckies? And they don't. Ford is a farmer's vehicle. It's a family vehicle. This is people that don't believe in abortions. They have a family. It's being used as a family vehicle to drive up and down. A farmer is a conservative, or the majority of them are. So you're pissing on a big market. And as somebody that studied marketing management, I don't understand this. I don't understand how companies can do this. But this opens my eyes a lot to the pressures that Facebook is getting at the moment. And I think we mistake on the companies. It's like I said about George Soros. I have the saying about George Soros. George Soros is the face of evil. Okay. He could be the devil, and he has actually in interviews said that he is God. But George Soros doesn't use his own money. He's got a hedge fund, so he uses other people's money. We need to find the people behind that money, because they're the people that are bringing down countries, bankrupting countries. I mean, they call it Black Friday. Where they basically, George Soros basically almost bankrupted, or he let the euro, he basically bankrupted Britain almost, if they didn't stop the sale of the pound, if they didn't close down the sale, the sales of their currency. And he didn't do it with his own money. He did it with the company's money. And who's invested in that company? That's what we need to find out, because those people know what he's doing and they're okay with that. He's bankrupted the Philippines, I think. There's like 5 countries that George Soros bankrupted. And in an interview, he said that he doesn't feel any remorse. The currency was overrated, and that's it. So the European Union and their ties to George Soros scares the crap out of me. And the things happening in the world at the moment scares the crap out of me. And everything points back to the European Union. And I'll make some more videos about the European Union. I love talking about them. love talking crap about them. So, but anyway, just so you know, I did make a video yesterday, got taken down. I wasn't lazy. This is the first time I've decided I will be making and trying my best to make a video every day. And I will not be doing the slicing and dicing anymore because it takes too much time. It takes me about 3 to 4 days to make a video, and then I get a couple of thousand hits on it, and it's not worth it. I get more hits on videos where I sit and talk shit to the camera and talk about an article and what I think about the article than when I spend all of those other times. And then I can talk to you every day. So, and I'm in lockdown, so I don't have people to talk to at the moment. Yeah, so it works out for me. So let's hope it works out for you guys. Cheers. Speak to you again tomorrow.